Warning, the topics discussed in today's events are the perspectives and opinions of the ladies of Her View. Viewer discretion is advised.
Happy Sunday, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Her View Podcast, What Women Really Think. It's your girl, Coach Tay, Media Maven. Actually, I'm coming from LA this week, so shout out to
I'm Shawnee, your self-love enthusiast. Your self-love enthusiast and data coach.
I am Ernie, the military wife coach.
And I'm Adrian, your favorite mental health counselor. And so today we're going to be sharing letters that we wrote to our 18-year-old self. So, Shawnee, what would you say to your 18-year-old self?
Oh, so many things. But like the here go. Okay.
We'd love to hear it.
I said, dear Shawnee, always remember you are capable of anything you put your mind to. When you say you're going to do something, do that shit. And do it with passion and own it. Keep writing. You're better than you think. You can actually have a great career doing what you love. Stack your money, invest, and let your money work for you, not the other way around. Travel, travel, travel. Never lose your love for it. You will enter a lot of prestigious rooms that you should never doubt yourself. You belong there. It's not just for people to see you, but it's for you to see how people treat you when they think you can't do anything for them. When it's your time to shine, baby girl, you'll know who's a real one. Vacation is not one-dimensional. You don't always have to be on someone's beach with an umbrella drink. Visiting continents is a move. Enjoy the culture. Stop rushing. The best way to do that is to stop procrastinating. Easier said than done, but it's all about the journey and learning from those lessons. Enjoy the process. Struggle love is not our thing, sis. Just because he proposes doesn't mean he's the one, or you have to say yes. Forget the list, forget the timeline. God's time and choices are always better than yours. Don't ignore red flags. They mean something. It is not your assignment to fix people, so cut it out. And fix the one person that's most important, you. If he's not treating you right, love on yourself more than ever, and you will attract the man that will treat you right. Stop waiting for a man to do epic shit. You are more than capable of accomplishing your big dreams. Just do it. What's for you is for you, and no one can take it away. Be mindful, exercise regularly, and eat healthy. You are not trying to be on a bunch of meds when you're older. Network with positive, ambitious, like-minded people to create a winner circle. Shoot your shot, read your Bible, stay consistent, and know you are entitled to miracles. Now position yourself to receive them. Oh, and coleslaw is still nasty.
Oh, that was such a cute letter.
What?
She was a savage, so I would let her know, like, it's okay, relax. You don't have to rush through everything. Like, enjoy the moment, create memories. That's what I would tell her.
So you mentioned like keep writing. So was writing like always a passion even from that age?
It really was, and I used to write like short stories all the time. I was a big like poem writer, and I don't know. I guess I just thought it was just something for fun, and I never really thought that it could be a career. So I was like, well, when you go to college, you got to get a good job. So do business, and that's what I did. And I wish I was encouraged more to use my creativity and go off of that, like enjoy the artistry of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's something that I think about, because we all know like that one thing in life, if you alter, it changes your whole life, right?
Yes.
So like,
yes.
If you would have altered some of those things, would you have been where you're at faster? Do you think you would have never ended up where you were? Like, what do you think? Of course you can't tell, but like, what do you think? And I think that's a question for all of us to answer. Like, if we would have changed just that one little thing, took that left instead of that right, we wouldn't be who we are. So like, we're grateful for the journey, right? But
right.
Who would we be then?
Right. I would like to think someone even more amazing, but sometimes you got to think, is that possible?
Right. Like, does it get better than this?
So So we have a comment, and Charmaine Solomon says coleslaw is definitely still messy.
Thank you, sis. Yes, it is.
I disagree.
No, I think that
You gotta make it at home.
no.
Right.
You gotta make it at home.
Too
So
funny.
thank you for sharing, Shawnee. That was like really, really cute too. I was like, yes, travel. But for me, because I went to a private school, I didn't see myself traveling as much as I started to do. Right. So I went there, everybody was doing Paris in the summer, Venice in the fall. And I was like, well, I've only been to maybe a couple of states. And so it was right there in that moment that I was like, I have to travel and I want to be able to say to other people that I do spend that time away. And I was still only 16 to 18 when I made that decision to save up. So by 18, were you traveling before, or did it like start to pop off like after you finished that?
I actually, the first time I ever went out of the country, I was 15 and I went to Mexico with the YMCA, and we stayed there for 3 weeks. We had a homestay. So it was like really like, you know, traveling abroad for the students or whatever. And it was such a wonderful experience. And so I wanted to keep doing more of that, but my budget was like, go to this island and these cool lattes. And that's how you relax. You escaped or not. And for me now, it's like, now that I've, you know, been to Egypt and Paris and London, and like, I want more of that because I like being amongst the people and the culture and, you know, not acting like a tourist, but seeing it for the beauty that it is on a regular day, not just a resort that only highlights, you know, the good stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think as well, because I started traveling, like you said, and getting out there and being places. Now my mind shifted to knowing that if I start a family and when I do, my kids, like I'm seeing kids that are like 3, 4, 5 that are on these trips. And before I'm like, I just wanted to be me and, you know, my family. But now I'm like, wow, I can really see how when you kind of say people are cultured in that light, that starts young.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So I'm like really grateful. And it's so funny. Like I remember Chris Rock, he had this joke and he was like, you know, it's so funny. You go to these like beautiful resorts, right? And from the airport on the way to the resort is nothing but poverty, right? And you're riding on this like bus in this Uber and you're like, wow, this is so sad. Like, oh my God, this is horrible. How do people live like this, right? And then you get to the resort, they hand you a pina colada and you're like, this is the most beautiful place on the planet.
Right. That's
It's funny because I'm sitting here and I like, Coach Tay, when you were like, oh yeah, I went to a private school and everybody's vacationing in the south of France, and I'm like, okay, note to self, no private school for my kids. I live in South France. Don't be selfish. I'm like, they act moving.
I don't know.
And they just go to the best school in our area. I can't think about traveling to no private. Talk about, mommy, we have to go to Milan this month. Whoa.
Right.
Both of you? Are you coming back? Like
together?
Right. I feel like in terms of traveling as well, like when I first started traveling and going out the country, it was always like it needs to be an island. But now I understand too, like I want to go other places, and it not even just internationally, domestically too, because it's like there's so many other states that have great, you know, things about them as far as history or just, you know, tourist attractions that I want to see. But it's like you're always just thinking about being on a beach laid out with the drink in your hand, opposed to what can I learn by going to Washington, D.C. and stuff like that. So I think that's like really true. And it's something that I'm trying to get into now. Like I want to visit more states, and I do want to go to Paris and to Egypt and all of those places too now, instead of just going. I mean, I love the Caribbean.
Okay, I was like, don't get me wrong. I love umbrella drink.
Act like I'm gonna just leave that alone because I'm not. But I'm saying, like, I do want to go other places as well now. Like, I don't want to just keep it so limited to just that. And I think another part about that too is just really setting, a budget aside for that, because a lot of the times we do just go to the Caribbean because you could get a round trip, air, hotel, everything for $500-$700, and when you go to these other places that aren't all inclusive,
right,
and you have to spend a bit more money, you're like, I'm gonna just go to Jamaica instead. But it's like, no, if you plan out and save monthly, like, yeah, you can go to Egypt and still be having fun out there for a decent price, but it just all really takes planning.
It's so funny because everybody wants to go on vacation and everybody talks about, oh yeah, I want to go on vacation. I need a vacation. And then when they get back, they're like, I need a vacation from my vacation. Why weren't you resting? Like, that was the point. You got back and you're still tired.
Stressful. Stressful trying to relax.
Oh, okay.
It's lit on vacation. But I feel that part too, because at one point when I was going on vacation, we was doing excursions so much that I felt like I never got a chance to like sit down and relax. Because those excursions, they'll last from like 9 a.m. You get back at 6, you all drained. You're like, I don't want to do anything no more. So I understand like needing the vacation from the vacation. But now when I go away, I'm like, we could do 2 excursions, but that's it. Like, I don't want to be out every single day because things end up tired again.
Well, it's funny that you say that because this move to Hawaii that we're going to do, I'm like, it's the best thing because you go to Hawaii, you want to cram everything into 4 to 10 days or whatever you take it. And I'm like, no, we got 2 years.
That's beautiful. I know. I'm thinking about it. Like when we come visit you, I'm like, how are we going to plan out these 4 to 5 days?
Okay, you know what, Shawnee? We have 2 years with her. We got 2.
We're just gonna stay with you.
Exactly. We're coming.
Why pay for a hotel room? That's just crazy. Especially a hotel room if you're not gonna be in it.
Right? Yeah.
So come find some space, move the Power Rangers, move the Shopkins out the way, and be comfortable.
I love it. Oh man.
So for me,
I'm excited.
My don't be that excited.
Oh.
It's not that long. But I said, hey, A, you're 18 years old and I need you to go after everything. Okay, I know in the video you said F that boy, which remains, but it's deeper than that. I didn't chase all my goals like I should have. I would tell myself again, go away to college, because that was something that graduating high school, I was like, oh, I'm going to go away. And I just felt like there were so many factors that I thought about instead of thinking about what I really wanted. It was like, oh, my parents, I'm in a relationship. I'm having fun with my cousins. Like, I can't go away right now. So go away to college, build relationships and leave those relationships that no longer serve a purpose in your life. Get rid of the self-doubt because you're the bomb and everyone sees it. Stop people pleasing. You don't owe anyone anything besides your parents. Travel more, turn up more, and just love yourself a little better.
I love that.
Right. You was like, done. Look, girl, this is what you do. I ain't got time to be talking to you all day.
Get it together. Just get it together.
I mean, because like Shawnee said, my 18-year-old self, like, I can't say it was the worst time in my life because it really wasn't. And I had a lot of fun. Like, I was just getting out of high school. I had a job, so I had money. I was having fun with my cousins almost probably too much fun, right? Because we was probably partying Monday through Sunday. But I think I don't know if going away to school would have helped me focus on college more, or like Ernie said, it could have turned out worse because I probably would have been even
not in class, doing the most, working the least.
And so, like, we can't think about the ifs, but I do wish I would have pushed myself to just do more stuff and have more confidence in myself as far as like, just going out and meeting new people, trying new things instead of feeling so like shy all the time about everything. Like, oh no, I can't do this, I can't do that. So yeah.
That's good. You're more adventurous now. You be out here shooting your shot, networking, talking to people, making friends.
Yeah.
Giving advice.
Giving
Okay,
advice.
what would Adrian do? All right.
Okay.
It's stressful for me because I feel like I love what I do, but because like at heart I still am very like shy and introverted. Like when it's too much, I'm like, oh, this like what? Is this what I want it to be? I'm like, I don't know. It's just a lot happening. But yeah, I am more, I'll say I'm more outgoing and I'm more willing to do and try new things opposed to how I was before.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I love that.
So we have some comments. Rafiq said, very interesting show.
Thank you, Rafi.
Meaning, thank you.
Bobby Butler said, hello all.
Hello, Bobby.
T. Goldsmith Irby said, I would tell myself not to chase after a boy and spend time with myself.
No, I like that. I like that.
Said, hey ladies, happy Sunday. Like your hairstyle, Tay. Getting sexy like your glam gamma. So, yeah, Coach Tay, though, like, what would you say to yourself, your 18-year-old self?
Okay. So I said, did a little Coach Tay.
Did a little Coach Tay.
I love your nickname for her.
It's an amazing time to be alive. I'm starting my 3 words off by saying, sis, turn up. You spent 4 years already on your own, and you're about to spend the next 4 on your new journey. I'm finishing high school, at the top of my class with honors, and I say that proud because I went to a PWI, and I'm going to college, which people say you could never do. From the bottom of my heart, all that I want to say is that I'm really, really proud of you. You have seen and gotten through things in life that people would never experience. Those challenges only made you stronger. Don't be afraid to take the moments you need to be proud of everything. College and beyond is about to be a trip, so take a deep breath, have fun, and be your best. I put also save all your money because life is about to hit you good, but more importantly, sis, turn up. Enjoy every second of your journey and never look back.
That's a fact. Save that money, sis.
Save that money.
I don't know where none of my money went.
I'm telling you. Well,
oh my goodness. I think the finance thing is like a big one for everybody. Like just be smarter with your money. Like managing your finances, that's important. And learning how to do that early, the better off you will be. So
and if you don't have the guidance. Because I came from a home where when you got it, you spent it. There was I never heard about a savings until I moved out and got on my own. Like savings, Mama ain't never saved nothing.
Right. Rainy day fund. Where?
Right.
Go out.
And I'm from Washington. It rains all the time. Be a fund.
Oh my goodness.
So we have one more comment. Chef Rashawn said, hey ladies of Herview. Hey Chef,
what's up, Chef?
Yeah, so I was saying, like, I was already on my own for 4 years. So 18 kind of was like an interesting time because I knew that I wanted to go to college. So it was so exciting because I was coming from the Bronx and living in Connecticut. So that idea of going to college never like really came to me until I got to high school, and then it became a reality. So I still had that type of like, I got to prove them wrong. You got to prove everybody wrong. So when Ernie said, if something changed, that really resonated with me because for my whole life, I've always wondered if the things that I want to do am I really passionate about, right? Because I feel like I'm always doing things that people say that I can't do. So I'm always like, nope, you know what? You said I can't do this. Watch me do this. You said I can't be the best media, personality in the world. Watch me be on top. You say I can't do this. Watch me do this. Right. So makes me think like, well, what do I really want to do instead of thinking about what other people say I can't do? Do I allow myself to do the things that I can do?
Or you can think about it this way. Like if you go more spiritually, God knows what you need. And he knows you need somebody telling you what you can't do to push you to get you where he needs you to be.
Come
So
on.
that's like he knows how to motivate you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, sis.
Yeah. And I feel Coach Tay on that because when I first graduated and I went to school, I went and I started in nursing, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't want to see no blood. I don't want to operate. I don't want to do none of that stuff. But I did it simply because it was the thing, right? Like nursing, go be a nurse. They get paid money. They do this. So I started out my first 2 semesters. I'm in nursing, and I hated every single thing about it. And then I had to really sit and think like, are you going to do this because it's something that you want to do, or are you doing it because people are saying it's a good field, or are you doing it solely for the money? And to be honest, I was just doing it for the money. I was like, I just want to get the big bucks. But I'm like, Adrian, this is such a job where you really have to be passionate and care. So I had to think about like other ways that I could care for people without having to do the drawing of blood and throwing up and poop and all of that. And that's when, I started getting introduced into human services and stuff like that. But yeah, like for me, it was just, this is what you do. You go for nursing. Like no one was saying you could do anything. You could be the fashion designer. You could go to school for culinary. You could do this. You could do that. It was just like nursing is a job that's going to pay you. Go down that lane.
Yeah.
And not even a lawyer. I was going to say be a lawyer, but like that I haven't even really heard people say to their kids or like people around, go out and be a lawyer. It was like be a cop, be a correctional officer, be a nurse, like those type of jobs. We didn't have people pushing us like, nah, you could really be, own your own media entertainment business if that's what you really want to do. Like they wasn't pushing that.
And I think that's the other thing, right? Because it was like growing up, it was like, okay, go to college, get a job. I never really heard you could start your own business.
Right.
What do you love to do? We could turn that into money. We can monetize. Like I've never heard that. And even going to school, my major was psychology, right? Of course, when I was little, I was like, I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a lawyer. That's only because I love Claire Huxtable, and that's the image, the Cosby Show was the family image I wanted. Right? So I was like, oh, you got to become a lawyer. And when I get to college, I'll find the doctor. And then we're going to have all these kids and have a brownstone in Brooklyn. Ta-da! And it was like, yeah, no, that was not my place. And going to, and like I said, studying psychology, even then, like I could have stuck with that. Right? Especially since I'm in the profession that I'm in now, right? Giving relationship advice and self-love and all this other stuff. But in college, they were like, if you want to make money, because that's what it was about. If you want to make money, you need to be a psychiatrist and you need to administer medicine. And I was like, well, I don't want to do that. Because I was just having everybody on Prozac. Like, just be happy. It's fine. And
Thank God you chose different.
You see? I know me, Ernie.
I'm glad you in tune with your star player, because we trying to get people off things that they don't need, and you would have been putting them on it. Like, you would have been.
I was like, if Bob comes in here one more time telling me about this stupid cat, like I'm gonna lose it. So.
Oh, she said the cat.
But it's like if I had people even in my college saying like, okay, Ernie's done. What if you took this psychology degree and you became a relationship, therapist, or you became like, these different types of therapists, and it was just always like, okay, there's gonna be somebody coming into your office that got some issue with whatever it is, and you just have to give them medicine so they feel better. And I was like, I don't want to do that.
Right.
Shauna, you mentioned something that was really important. That was something that you didn't hear people say, go after your dreams and live your life, but you said that's what you saw, right, from Claire Huxtable.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
As a teacher, when I'm teaching, and I love my favorite lesson is the one where I'm like, what do you guys want to be when you grow up? Draw, write about it, sing about it. Like, let's have all of these activities around it, right? And then some of them, they say they want to be, you know, a firefighter. And then, you know, I always mention the entrepreneurship, you know, start your own business, and it really gets them thinking. But then it's like, they don't see that. That's not the first thing that comes on their head. They're always going to say, like, I want to be a cop, I want to be a teacher, or I want to be a lawyer or a nurse. And so then I'm like, okay, well, what movie represented someone being an entrepreneur? What book have they read or something? So I think it's very important to see us in the fields being a boss in the movies, because that's what we see, and that's what makes us want to become essentially, you know, successful in life.
What we have to think about too is that when we were 18, entrepreneurship was not big. So it wasn't like we had a resource to go to, like as today, the kids now, they have us to come to and say, oh, I want to do X, Y, and Z. Not only that, your parents were like, entrepreneur, that's like saying you want to be a bum, because that don't make money, and we need money because we're robbing Peter to pay Paul. So it's culturally, we weren't taught that, while other races, that's how they thrived, because culturally they could do those things. They had the resources.
Like, so dreaming big was, you know, being a lawyer.
Right.
Being a doctor. And, that was big.
You know, I'm Caribbean, so you was either going to be a lawyer, you was going to be a doctor, you was going to be a nurse. Like, there was just certain things that your parents, I know Caribbeans and Africans, their parents hit like 3 check boxes, and if you don't make those, you fail. Like, loser.
So we have Ann Johnson said, law is a good field, but do what makes you happy. You ladies sound very mature.
Oh, thank you.
Allie gave us some crowns.
Up, Allie.
And the 100. So one of the things that Ernie just said, I want to pose to you guys, right? Did you guys see the Killer Mike thing? I forgot the name of it. Shawnee may know.
Yes. Yes.
So there's this documentary.
It's on Netflix.
Right. Killer Mike does on Netflix. Okay. And he visits like this classroom full of like preschoolers or something like that. I'm not sure how old they are. And he's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they're like, I want to be the president. I want to be
so like, wrong. So right.
All of these stuff. So like when we talk about how when we grew up, people weren't pushing us for our dreams.
Right.
In Killer Mike's documentary, he basically told them, like, you want to be the president? You want to be the president? It's not going to happen. Pick something else. Right. He was like, pick a trade or pick something that, you know, you're actually going to be able to be successful. He was still talking about, like, you could have your own business and stuff.
Right.
But I think it was just more so, like, don't be too outlandish. So
learn a skill. Have a skill was his point.
Yeah. So what would you, Ernie, say? Because you have children, like when your children come to you and they say, Ma, I want to be, you know, the president. Like how do you handle those type of conversations?
None of my kids want to be the president, thank God, because I would have to crush their dreams. I am not that parent. Like, I do try to nurture what they're into. So like right now, my 5-year-old loves music, but he's loved music ever since he came out of me. So like music and football was how we got him to stop crying, because he cried all the time. So like he always wants to be around here with his guitar, or he can't write yet, which is so cute. So he's like memorizing his raps. And so like every 10 minutes when we're downstairs, he comes, he puts on a performance, and he waits for us to give him applause, because he's like, oh, I'm not leaving until y'all clap. But more so at this age, it's about confidence. So when my daughter comes and my husband hammers into her, you want to be a doctor, and I'm like, leave her alone, because she may not want to be a doctor. Like, everybody's not wanting to be a doctor, but it's about what they want. And I think that me as a parent, I don't want to do what other parents that I've seen before me do, which is force what I want on my children. Because then, like you said, you went to school because it might have sounded good to your parents for you to be a nurse. And it was like, okay, that's prestigious and that's honorable, and I can make them happy, but you weren't happy. And that's my thing. Like what I do now, before I went to work, I love helping people. So that was wonderful. But like now that I'm like building my own business from the ground up, and doing what I love to do. It's not a job. So I get up every day and I like apply more to it because I love doing it.
Right.
Another thing too is we as our community have to stop kicking our kids out at 18. We have to.
Yes.
We have
Oh
to keep
my
them in the house.
God, they are not grown. At 18, they don't know what to do. And telling them that they need to get out or get a job and do all of that is not helping them be successful in life.
And that's the reason why I feel like sometimes as a community that we're on the shorter end, because now this 18-year-old went from living by your rules, having a curfew, you taking care of them, to instantly, you got to go find out how to get a job, where to get it. We didn't prepare you for that.
Right.
So like my son, of course, you know, he wanted to join the military. So I'm going to let you do that. But if you're at any point when you're ready to come home, there's a home for you to come home to. Because if we got to nurture anything before, I don't ever want you to feel like I couldn't do it because I didn't have the support. I know what that feels like.
Right.
I just don't agree with that.
So Ann Johnson says, the Bible says, write the vision. So when God gives you an inspirational dream, search it out through prayer. The Holy Spirit will guide you. Learn to write down your thoughts.
That manifest.
Yep.
Bobby Butler said, I went to school and got a degree for what I was good at doing rather than what my true passion was. Biggest mistake of my professional life. Now I talk to my nephews and nieces often so they don't make the same mistakes as I did, as I will with my son too when he grows up.
Yes. Smart.
Ann Johnson said, the word is God. Typo, don't worry. Bobby Butler said, when you're doing something you are passionate about, you are never working a day in your life.
That's right.
Basically. Yeah. So Ernie, we ain't get into you, sis. What would you say?
Dropping all these gems, girl.
What's up?
So let me give a little backstory so my letter makes sense, because I know if I just say it, it's gonna. Okay. I was emancipated and on my own at 15. I got pregnant at 15, had my baby at 16, got married at 17, and was separated by 18. So it has to make sense.
It's like, wait.
Right.
Trying to figure it out. Stay up with it.
Yes. So I need y'all, because y'all be like, marriage? What? Who? What? Okay. Dear 18-year-old Ernie, there's so much to tell you with so little time. But first thing I want to tell you is that you are exceedingly and abundantly worth more than your weight in gold. You need to get with God, and not the way you are, but more intimate relationship with him. He is dope, and the Bible is dope. You may feel alone because honestly you are, but you don't have to be. He's always with you. Baby love, you are so hurt right now, and you're raising this toddler alone, separated from your husband. His betrayal has caused you to feel like you can't trust anyone. Continue to depend on you because you have always done right by you, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't ever let anyone deter you from being you. You are amazing. You are kind, loving, giving, and a true jewel, but it's all guarded. Most have a wall up around their heart. But to get to your heart, you have a wall, and outside of that wall, there's rabid pit bulls that haven't ate for 40 days. Then there's a jungle full of venomous snakes, aggressive orangutans, and deadly spiders. All of this on an island. In the waters of that island are killer sharks and piranhas, and the water's not water, it's acid. You don't trust anyone as far as you can see them with your eyes closed, and unknowingly to you, that's hurting you more than it ever hurts anyone else. The world isn't out to get you. They sleep just fine. You don't. You are not the atrocities that plague you. You are not your childhood nor the tragic things that they said about you or did to you. Go see a therapist. It's going to be favorable to your life. There's a lot suppressed, and you need to acknowledge it and have it become the thing that once bound you and not the thing that is binding you. You are raising this baby and you are doing an amazing job. You are an amazing mother. You know you are not your mother. There's a light inside of you, one that's so bright that it makes the sun look like a dim bulb. Stop dimming your light to let others shine. They either need to put shades on or get out of your galaxy. And finally, within the next 5 to 7 years, you are going to see a lot of money flow through your hands. Discipline yourself, invest, put money to the side, and just focus on creating generational wealth. Keep working hard, standing your ground, love those who love you, and forgive those who don't. Laugh through the bad days and cry a cry of rejoicing on the good. You are powerful. You are unique. You are exquisite. Yours truly, with honor, love, and admiration, Ernie at 35.
Hey.
Yes. Yes for that.
My heart's all beating
You
fast. I'm
are
like, oh,
amazing.
I was just making it in front of a room full of people.
Wow, that was so dope, honestly.
I love that. Oh, so good.
She was a mess. Like, there wasn't one thing. Like, okay, you have to leave school because you've chosen to have this baby. But then let me call on this man. And then y'all get married. And then betrayal happens. And now you have to leave him. And you're just hitting 18. Like, all this stuff has happened between 15 and 17.
Yeah.
Now you're really alone because the life you created with him, he was your family. His family was your family. Everybody, that was you. And now you're by yourself. And now you hate everything you see, especially the thing you see in the mirror. But you're trying to raise this kid. So you're so focused on making money and not the kid. And he gets everything he wants, but he doesn't have all of you. It just, 18-year-old me was a mess. Like, and it took me years and a lot of therapists.
But you know what? She lived like a whole life, right? Because she was surviving, right? And now this 35 Ernie is living. So you gotta like give yourself credit, sis. Like, you are doing it.
I would go through all of it all over again. I finally liked me. Like, for a long time, I didn't like me. And I didn't understand when people would be like, do you like you? Like, does your mama like herself?
So deep. Like, do you like yourself?
Right. Like, I can wake up and be like, you know, I make effort to be a good person. Like, I rejoice in the fact that I'm going to say that I am a good person. I go out of my way to be a good person. I want to help people, and I want to be a light, because there's so much darkness. Like, especially, it's so funny because I always say, like, abused people can see abused people. But when I see abused kids, it's like, I know. So it's just like, oh, baby, come here. Like, let me hug you. I get it. I don't even gotta say it. I get it.
You're a good hugger, I bet. I love good huggers. You know, people that just hug you and they just know you need a little extra.
Right.
Why am I crying? I don't know.
Like this, it's okay.
It's okay, baby.
Yeah. Wow. That was, I mean, I feel like that everything that you read was just like very eye-opening. And sometimes we can't look at people and see what they've been through.
Yes.
Looking at you and knowing you at 35, we would have never known that you've been through those things.
Yes.
It's not how you carry yourself now. Like, you're not a pessimist, like, oh, don't do this. Like, you're just so upbeat and you're very happy.
Loving life.
And I just think that it's such a blessing for you to go through something, grow through it, and just come out on the other side on top.
That's how you know you win. Like, once you can get to this point, it's like, I won. Everything that was sent to tear me down didn't. Like, what else? Ain't got nothing on me.
No, Ernie, for me, Shawnee, the word you said just was like brought tears to my eyes when you said survival mode, because the same thing like Adrian was saying, you don't know what somebody is going through or has gone through just by looking at them, right?
Yeah.
So what I wrote in my letter talked about being proud. And so it literally, like when I was speaking to you before, Ernie, on the phone, when we had that little, heart to heart, it was just, it's one thing, right? It's like one thing that I would say that people will be like, like by 18, you had already experienced that? Like, do you need a hug? Or like, I'm here for you. And so for me, I lived a very, traumatic childhood and a traumatic situation. So before 18, I was like, oh, nobody could tell me nothing. If it was my grandmother, I'm not answering to nobody, like not even my mom or my dad, respectfully. But as an adult, no one could tell me to make these type of decisions in my life because I had already been through it. So when you was reading it, I was like almost tearing up, because when you talked about trust and suppression, I'm like, that goes so deep in people that people, I don't know why people think that trust is just something that should just be given off the rip.
Right.
Yeah.
The sad part about it is I give it off the rip. It's like you start on an A. I believe you at face value.
Yeah.
But once you hit that B, I'm like, okay.
Right.
All the walls.
That's a big fall. That's a
Right.
big fall.
You heard about my island.
Okay.
Like my husband used to be like, here's the funny thing. Me and my husband despised each other for 7 years before we ever got together. Like he used to call me the devil. Like I found that out by one of his friends. He was like, didn't you used to call her the devil? And I was like, oh my God.
Wow. It's pretty hurtful.
Nothing. There was no breaks that were given. There was no, if I loved you, I loved you. But if I had a question about you, you was
I hear you. I trust you until you give me a reason not to.
Yes.
And sometimes they do.
And you don't get to decide what my reason is.
No,
you do not. Wrong. I'm like, that was the devil.
Talk about Minority Mental Health Month and the lack of therapy that people go through, but like my 18-year-old self wasn't even seeing that I needed therapy to get through those moments, because I used to think that there were so many things going on within my family that I didn't want to go to therapy, even though it was supposed to be forced and mandated. I was like, I'm not doing it because y'all don't know me and y'all don't know what I'm going through on a day. Like, how can you help me when you've never been in that situation before? So I was like, I don't even want to show up, because the person who's supposed to be on the other side is not showing up as well. So why do I to keep going to go see like the parent visits when my parents ain't coming? So it was like, I started to realize, like, we only live once, we get one life, and you got to do what you have to do. But like you said, like, that therapy is really important, because in order to be optimistic like you are, or like all of you guys are, it's like nobody would know, but we would never live with that chip on our shoulder where everything is just a mess all day, every day. It's like, I want to see more optimistic people out here.
Right.
And it's not even, for me, it's not even being optimistic. Like, I can't say I believe in God, and I can't tell people how good God is and then be like, oh, my life was so horrible. Like, he got me through it. Like, we get to testify about this. I'm not going to give no glory to no other thing. God got me through it. And yeah, it was hard, but nothing's easy. It's building up your muscles, and I had to build up different muscles than everybody else. Like, one of my male best friends, he always be like, you didn't go to school, because I used to always be down on myself, like, I didn't graduate, I had to go get my GED. And he's like, you went to the school of hard knocks. He's like, there's stuff that your friends are doing and they don't understand. You act like, at 18, you act like a 35, 45-year-old woman, because you got different issues than they do. So he's like, you never be ashamed of that. You be proud of that.
I hear you. That is true. Very, very true. We got some comments.
We sure do.
Yeah.
And Johnson said, my view is you ladies are doing something great right now. Take this to the limit. I would love to see you all on public TV. Young people will love this. They need it. You have good topics. I love her view, and I'm older. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that was her view. Get it? See what I did there?
Bobby said, at Ernie, I kind of disagree with not kicking your kid out. I think it depends. Some kids get comfortable and don't truly try to have a life for themselves. They get lazy knowing they have somewhere to go. When you have it easy, sometimes it becomes a crutch and a hindrance rather than a support. If my dad didn't kick out my brother, he would never become the man he is today. Some kids need that sink or swim situation to grow.
I think with that, I mean, yes, but I think your kids. So you're raising this kid for 18 years. You know if your kid's lazy. So you can keep them in the house and still make them pay rent. You can keep them in the house and still make, these are your responsibilities. These are the requirements for you to live here, right? They're going to choose whether or not they can deal with those things. But I know the people I'm talking to are the ones who their kids are no benefit to them anymore. either you're not getting a check, or it's not, you know, you're tired of raising, quote unquote, them, then we're putting out, not me, because I was on my own at 15, so I can't tell you about living in a house with my parents at 18.
Yeah.
But I've seen some of my friends who went from high school to having no place to go.
Yeah.
And like, what do? Your parents have done everything for you. You have to start build at 12, 13, 14. That's when the responsibilities come in. Like, you have to start preparing. If you're going to kick them out at 18, let's start preparing them for that. Let's not just wake up one day and be like, oh, you're an adult now.
Yeah.
But let's prepare them for that, because you know who you're dealing with in your house. If that's the case at 16, make them go get a job. Well, no, you're not just going to sit around the house. You're going to go and pull your weight. If you get a car, your responsibilities are your car note or your insurance note, because insurance is high. So, like, I'm not saying everybody's situation is different. Right. What I am saying is that if you know that here's the thing, you kick a lazy kid out, right? The kid's lazy. Where are they going to go? What are they going to do? That's how some of these girls are falling into the arms of these men.
Yes.
Because it's like, I have nowhere to go. That's how some of these boys are on the corner selling dope or robbing cars, because they had nowhere to go. That's why there's gang members sometimes, because their parents gave up on them. So I'm not saying that about everybody. I mean, him and his dad, and he knows his situation, but that's, sometimes we use that as a blanket. Oh, well, you don't want to listen, you 18, get out.
Yeah. It's about giving them the tools.
When he's in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a helicopter parent. My son is in the Army, and I'm still all in his business. Like, one too many times on his debit card, I'm like, why are you at the vending machine? Like, why can't you just buy a pack? Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, look, we got to figure this out. Like, but I'm a hover parent. I'm always in his business. And at this point now, he's like, Mom, I trust you to guide my life. He's like, I've been trying to make decisions on my own, and this is not working.
I agree with both sides. Like, I understand what Bobby's saying, but I definitely understand Ernie, because for me, my parents, like, when I look at my family and just like some of my friends, like, my parents didn't kick me out at 18, and I'm grateful for that, because it allowed me the time to figure out what I wanted to do with my life and how to do it with my life with their guidance. You know what I'm saying? Because, like you said, if you kick me out at 18, I can tell you right now from that letter, I wasn't prepared to be alone. Maybe at school somewhere, but that's still someone, you know, over you. I wasn't ready to live alone and just be out there. And I do feel like that is kind of the difference with how I turned out, in a sense, because when I do look at other people's situations, I'm like, okay, well, maybe they couldn't finish college. Not saying that that's for all people, but because they didn't have, you know, somewhere to lay their head at night, or to get studying done, or to do those type of things that I had, you know. And even some of my cousins, they tell me like, oh, your parents are, you know, just amazing, because they let you stay there and they let you get stuff together. They let you, they guided you into becoming an adult, rather than their parents who just was like, yeah, 18 years old, you got to get out of here. And like you said, give them responsibilities. Like, me and my brother stayed home, but it wasn't no free ride. I still had to pay for groceries. You know, even when I wanted the other things, I knew what I had to do. Like, okay, well, I got to pay for the groceries. So they go to the little 200 I made from working at Key Food is going back into Key Food or whatever. Like, it taught me responsibility. So now as an adult, like, I know more. Like, I know what to expect. I know how to pay bills. I know how to budget. I know how to do those things, because they taught me those things, instead of just saying, get out, figure it out on your own.
And here's another thing, though.
Yeah, I agree.
One parent's lazy could be, and I don't know how old Bobby is, right? But if he's anywhere around our age, the questions I ask my children, what do you want to be? What do you want to do with life? What makes you happy? Those questions, we weren't asked that. So his brother could have been lazy. He could have genuinely been lazy. Or he could have just not known. Like, everybody doesn't know what they want to do. Everybody's not like, I'm 5 and I want to be a police officer, and at 25 you still want to be a police officer. That's not everybody's life. So his brother may not have been asked the right questions on how to get him navigated. You know what I'm saying? And not just his brother, other people. So sometimes we call things something because it's an irritant, or because you're not doing as well as Bobby. So since you're not motivated like Bobby, you just lazy. or you're not motivated like me. Like I look at my son, I used to call my own son lazy. I used to be like, Jahil, you're so lazy because my hustle was different.
Right.
And then I had to be sat down and told your hustle is different because you had a different life. You
Right.
gave him better, so his life is different. Now you got to navigate him through his life.
Yep.
I
want to mention a separate situation, but it has to deal with like being 18. So when you are in or another state, you know, and you're in foster care, when you get 18, you age out, you know. So you're done. If you're not adopted officially and the state don't know what to do with you, they let you go. They're like, you're 18, we have no more for you, no more to give. And I hate that because they don't really have the skills and the tools to be successful. They may not have a house. They may not have ID, credit cards, anything, financial, anything, family. They definitely don't have family support. But aging out at 18 still to me is a very bad example in our like world and the community that we live in, because we don't properly, I wouldn't even use the word train, but we don't properly teach our community what it means to age out and to create programs for those children to become better. And just like our own children, like you said, Ernie, we have to prepare them in order to, if you want them to leave at 18, let them know that at 15 or 16 or 17, and then put in some places so they could know 18 is coming, your 18th birthday. Now you need to know you got to have a little bit more responsibility, because by then, once you get to 18, it's like you don't know what you're going to do if you don't have the tools that you need in order to live on your own.
That's very true. I know for me, like when I was about 14 years old, I wanted these Guess jeans. That was big back then for you youngins. It was huge. I wanted name brand. I wanted it. And my mother, you know, honestly, she couldn't afford it, right? So she was like, you know what? You want these jeans? You're going to have to get a job and work. I swear out of my friends, I was the only 14-year-old with a resume. I figured it out, but my mom helped me do it. You know what I'm saying? And then she would say, go to this store, go to this store. You want to work? You want clothes? Go work in a clothing store. Go do this. And so me personally, I was counting down to 18. I couldn't wait. I knew I was going away to college. I was getting the hell out of the Bronx. I was like, I'm out of here. Like, see ya. I got the skills or whatever. Now, this is why I say it's important to, you know, teach your children about like finances, right? Because yeah, I wanted these Guess jeans, right? So then I get the check, right? My first check. FICO done took half my money, right? And now I'm left with like $200 maybe, right? And then my mom's like, well, you know, you should really pay for the phone bill since you're always on the phone. You're like, true. All right. So I give a little money for that. Then I go buy my jeans and then I'm broke for the next 2 weeks. I was like, well, okay, how are we going to do this? So now I'm like, well, let me go to Marshall's and TJ Maxx and now these like, you know, irregular places, because I'm never paying full price for anything again. And that's my motto. I know I can get it cheaper, but you know, that's experience, right? Had I not learned that early on, like as an adult, I still would be paying full price for stuff, just thinking that that's just the only option. So I agree with everyone. Like you definitely have to set your kids up with the tools and the skills to be prepared. You don't just send them out there blind, like figure it out.
I do have a comment from
some comments from Instagram. There were a lot of people who gave us 3 words, which were try new things, marriage can wait, see it through, and save your bread. And the last it wasn't 3 words, very powerful. Co-sign on creating generational wealth.
Yeah,
I like that.
Some of the other comments from Instagram too were, you are a blessing, love yourself first, get it together, you are don't overthink it, buy Amazon stock, you got this, God got you.
I love that.
Okay, so I have a comment on my Facebook watch party, and then I do have some people actually went, like I said, and went to Minty. Yes, it's wonderful for me. So I'll read the comment first, and then I'll go to Minty. But it's Natasha Camille Nicole said, "In this day, it's hard to keep your child focused on staying on the right path. We had the Cosby Show, and it showed a mother and father in the house whom were lawyers and doctors, and their kids went to college. Different world. And so we saw educated, successful Black people. Now these young people see a false pretense of what success is from reality TV. It doesn't show you the hard work it really takes to make it in the world.
The highlight reel.
Right. And not even a highlight reel. You know, we know how Kim K got famous.
Well,
we know Ray J wouldn't be famous if he wasn't Brandy's brother. Like, who called him Ray J like the first 8 years we knew him?
He was Brandy's brother. Fact.
Brandy's brother.
Oh
okay,
my goodness.
So the people on Menti went and they said what they would tell their 18-year-old self is heal yourself, keep working hard, don't stay where you are not wanted, and don't allow cheating. It's not an acceptable mistake. That's what one viewer said. Then another viewer said, I would tell my younger self, you are enough. Another person said, set goals. And the last one was, parenting doesn't come with a handbook. Mistakes are lessons learned.
I love that. I love that. I got this comment on Instagram and I love it. Well, it's two that I love. One says, become an entrepreneur, save more. Guys will always be there. Another one is, your first mind is your right mind. And then this one says, you can't fix another person. You just can't. And it's not your job. And until you know who you are, you can't ask for what you want.
Ooh. Yes.
I love that. Love that. So y'all out here dropping gems.
A little bit more comments before we get into our weekly game with Coach K. So Ann Johnson said, when men depend on mom, they become lazy. They need to learn to be responsible men and husbands. She also said, I want you all to discuss low-grade depression. It is so relevant now. People need help. So we have 2 episodes on mental health, but I'm sure we will be discussing depression, anxiety, all of those things in, depth again. She also said at 18, no, don't kick them out. I thought they were talking about men over 35. Oh no, at 35.
They gotta
men
go.
over 25
That 18 is still growing up. They need help and education. They have to find themselves and mature. They need guidance. And she said, you are right.
And that's the wonderful thing too. I don't want to say that, at 35 you can't live at home. If you're going home because you got divorced, life happened, something, that's fine. Like, that's a life circumstance. But if you've been there since the womb,
never left.
Yeah, we definitely don't want you to get married to nobody, because then they just transferring that.
Ernie, that's another show.
Oh, sorry.
Married, but you still live at home. All right. So as I was thinking, we're 18 and our younger selves, when we do become the amazing women we are, when we have our own show and our bios, so my question is, who is one actress that you would want to play your 18-year-old self or your life story?
So
I'm
my initial was Gabrielle Union, because right, we got a lot in common, right? But then thinking about it, once we get big enough, and she gonna be at home, Kavia, she's really not gonna be trying to do my 18-year-old story. So I think Ryan Destiny. I love her attitude.
Yes. Love her. Oh, that's a good one.
That's a really good one. So I see how you went from Gabby to Ryan, because it was like, once we get a little bit up there, she could go back. So because I chose Nia Long for me, because she's so versatile, and people tend to put others in a box. And for me, when I see her act, I'm like, she's never in a box. I'm like, black don't crack. And two, always 18 or always like 21 in every movie, because I'm like, whoosh, the skin is just, this melanin is on something else. So I want her to play me, but I'm gonna come back to somebody who's a little bit younger as well. But I would definitely say Nia Long.
I like that. I think, younger me, I would go with Logan Browning. She plays in Dear White People. She's like the lead in Dear White People, and she's been in a few movies, but I love her politics. I love like the way she carries herself, and I feel like she could really nail 18-year-old Shawnee. And then like older, I guess she could transition to older. I don't feel I look my age, but if I had to pick someone older, I would go with Sanaa Lathan because I love her. And
this girl.
yes, that is Logan Browning. Okay. Yeah. I think she would really capture the essence of 18-year-old Shawnee.
I mean, for me, so I do like Ryan's Destiny. Like, I love her. So I would probably rock with her too. But it's funny because, like, growing up, people used to. Do you guys know who Camille Wimbush is? She's from the Bernie Mac show.
Yes.
Yes.
So
I would just probably choose her. Like, all right, girl, come and play me.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, that's who I would. Because I hate seeing those movies when it's like a biopic and the person looks nothing like who they're playing. Like, I'm
like
dark.
the Aaliyah movie when they played Dame Dash.
In the play
like, who that's supposed to be? That's Dame?
Right.
You didn't even try.
Right.
And she would have Keisha Knight play her.
Ooh.
Oh, nice. That's a good one. That is a good one.
Yeah, ladies.
Yes, well, thank you guys so much for tuning in each and every Sunday. And you can, again, of course, watch us next Sunday. Make sure you listen to Apple Podcasts, leave a comment, review. We also are up there on YouTube. So like, subscribe, and watch our own videos. And of course, you can watch our old videos on Facebook. Please share. And we appreciate everybody's supports and comments and questions. Keep sharing, keep liking us. And again, happy Sunday, and we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank y'all for tuning in. If you like what you heard, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, click that notification bell so you will be notified at every time we drop a new post for you. Thanks for tuning in to Her View. Bye.